Welcome to Game 8. It's the final game of Day 1 here in the round robin, and a lot at stake as the Toronto Tigers and Justin Cruz getting set to take the draw. Taking on the Letterkenny Shamrocks. The Shamrocks 1-0, the Tigers 0-1. If Letterkenny wins this game, then the Shamrocks eliminate the Tigers and they eliminate the Glasgow Clydesiders. Letterkenny in blue with yellow and white trim playing left to right, and the Toronto Tigers in gray with orange and black trim. Toronto an 8-5 loss earlier against the Gunhawagi Mohawks. Letterkenny 7-3 winners in their first game, and the Shamrocks control. They make their way up the center. Justin Cruz pinning his man along the wall. Of course, he's the captain and founder of this team. Toronto team which had the lead in the second half of their first game against the Mohawks, and we're going to have holding call against Letterkenny, pinning the ball against the wall. So that means it'll be Tigers possession. And, they're here to compete. They're not just here to, get away for a weekend, even though that's fun, too. And meanwhile, Letterkenny, I'd say the most laid-back, loosey-goosey group. As the Tigers get a shot away, they score! Toronto's on the board as a bomb comes in from right in between the face-off dots, where that would be in hockey. So about 30 feet out, and the ball goes top shelf, and the Tigers have an early 1-0 lead just over a minute into this contest. And Cruz, who's getting set to take the draw now, it's been on the Tigers for, of course, the first two tournaments that they've been here. This team is, they're here and they're ready to compete. And they win the draw. Possession on the left-hand side of O'Callaghan, the netminder for Letterkenny. Comes up top to Cruz. Cruz splits the defense. Cruz, shooting lane, sends it out in front, and it's quick sticked in. They score! What a start for the Tigers! 2-0. Letterkenny has barely even had the opportunity to realize the game started. 2 face-off wins, a turnover. Wow, the Tigers, large and in charge right now. And if the Shamrocks want to stay here in the jungle, they're going to have to wake up. Well, this is a good start for Letterkenny, or at least I thought it would be. Let's see what the ruling is. It looks like it'll be Tigers ball. Here we go. Toronto brings it up. Centered out in front. Open opportunity. Stuffed out by O'Callaghan. Comes back out in front. Wainwright missed the ball for Letterkenny, and it's scooped up by Toronto. Here's an open look, and that one's stuffed out by O'Callaghan. And away from the ball, we had a push, an interference call, which has given possession to the Shamrocks 3 minutes into this first half. Letterkenny in a 2-0 hole. Roymans sent it over. Shamrocks down by a score of 2-0. Oh, and we have a Letterkenny player who hopefully hasn't done anything serious, but it looks like he tweaked something in the lower part of his body, and he's going back to the bench on a limp. That is not good news for Letterkenny. O'Callaghan picks it up, though, off the turnover. That is good news for the Shamrocks, but they throw it away. And the Tigers bring it back up mid-court. Ball's on the right-hand side of the net. A centering feed thrown away. Those skip passes are always a risk. High risk, high reward, they say. As Campbell drives to the goal, shoots! And that one's not going to hit the net. Shot clock doesn't reset, down to 15. Campbell back behind the goal. Sean Campbell looking for Jim Campbell. And his pass, he got it back, shot, scores! Campbell has put Letterkenny on the board. It's now 2-1. 15:30 left to go here in the first half. And of course, just like everything here on day one, and everything forward in the round robin and the consolation brackets. It's going to be two 20-minute halves. Shamrocks trailing by a score of 2-1. But they are on the board here. This is a Toronto Tigers team, which we've mentioned is here to compete. They really are. Possession earned by the Shamrocks. Conley trying to rough his man up, but it's stolen by the Tigers. And Toronto trying to get some fresh troops on the floor, but Hoyman's making things rough for Toronto, but now it's thrown back deep. And turnover by the Tigers, so the Shamrocks will scoop it up and come back over into Toronto territory. Hoyman's leaves it there. Sent out in front. That pass intercepted. It's those skip passes once again. They always seem to work against you when you want them to not, as Wainwright will scoop it in his own crease. Wainwright jumps and makes the pass up to midcourt. Scooped up by the Shamrocks, or nearly. Now Toronto with the steal as Kunderman couldn't get it for the Shamrocks. As the Tigers settling things down, or trying to settle things down here a bit. And it's stolen. And now possession is picked off by Toronto. And oh, Campbell says hello. Picked up by Toronto, though. In tight. Save made by the shoulder of O'Callaghan. And possession earned by the Tigers. It's 2-1. Gillespie sets a pickup high, or that's Cruz setting the pickup high for the Tigers. Toronto trying to drive in. Ball squirts free. Good help defense by Conley and some pushing and shoving. And we're going to have matching minors. Maybe a little bit more. Said before, in game ones today, you said this during the Mohawks Clydesiders game. Game ones today, Letterkenny's matchup against Glasgow, by far the most intense in terms of exchanges, trash talk, just what you want to see. But the game twos, particularly that Wendage Res Dogs matchup, as well as the West Bay Bombers matchup, when they took on Bishops, there was a lot of dirt being exchanged, a lot of beef, you could say, between the two teams. As Letterkenny picks it up, it's Campbell driving to the goal. Campbell fakes the backhander, lets a bouncer goal. That one shouldered away. A rebound hops. It's the derriere of the official, comes back out. Campbell goes after it, and Gunnerada's Bush deflects it. Picked up by the Tigers, and they bring it into Letterkenny territory. Both teams getting the change on. Tigers leading 2-1. Here's a steal by Toronto. And it's played back out. Gillespie sends it over to the left-hand side of the goal. Got the return feed. Dylan Gillespie sizes up his man. Lets a shot go, and that one is going to ricochet back into Toronto territory. Shot clock resets. Gunnerada's Bush. And we have a player for Toronto knocked down away from the play. That was Gillespie who took the fall. And the Tigers scoop it back up. Good pressure by Toronto on this power play. And the Tigers here just throw it away. We got a whistle. And they threw it away for a reason. Not a legal one either. 4-on-4 still. Not a power play. It's just the power play. The penalty was up on just one side of the board. Now it's kicked back out to center. Controlled back by the Tigers and given away. Letterkenny comes back. One-on-one opportunity for the Shamrocks. And that one's going to be denied and picked back up by Toronto. as we close in on the halfway point of this first half. 2-1 Tigers leading and in possession of the ball. Left-hand side of the Letterkenny's goal. Played back out. A skip pass. Corralled by Cruz, trying to split the double team. Good play by Conley to slash that ball free. Now here's a shot from about 80 feet out, which will be handled by O'Callaghan and scooped up by Wainwright. Wainwright gets it up to Smith, known as Juice. And back come the Letterkenny Shamrocks. A win today in this contest would clinch them and the Mohawks each a trip to the semifinals and would eliminate Toronto and Glasgow. Campbell fires, not on. A rebound bounces, and it'll be picked up by the Tigers. And away comes Toronto. But Letterkenny gets enough bodies back out on the floor. So a good hustle there by Campbell, who was the man back. Get some fresh troops out there for the Shamrocks. Toronto, slow to change and engage. And there's going to be an interference call coming up here against Toronto. That's a possession call, so the Shamrocks will gain possession. 2-1 Letterkenny trailing the Toronto Tigers. Angus Tuax for the Tigers got knocked down. A shot hits the far post and gets out of play. Tuax wearing 50 for the Tigers. And it'll be Shamrock's ball. The ball, you'll notice, the ball takes some really interesting hops. It's not quite as bouncy as it would be on a normal field lacrosse or a normal box lacrosse floor. Here's a shot, and that one was handled. Tuax with a chop away from the ball. And I think there's going to be a call coming up. It's 2-1 Letterkenny trailing. Tuax and Roymans still going at it with one another. 2-1 Toronto Tigers leading the Letterkenny Shamrocks in a game which is a must-win for the Tigers. You know, the Glasgow Clydesiders are also cheering on the Tigers. If Toronto wins this game, then that Glasgow Tigers matchup could be for all the marbles in that second spot. Here's a chance, right in tight, save made, and a rebound. It'll be picked up by the Tigers. Sent up the floor, and intercepted by Letterkenny. Oh, and a player loss is putting. You know what? That's another thing, too, that's been happening. We'll see that throughout the tournament, I'm sure. Later on in the day, unfortunately, a little bit more moisture out on the floor. Here's a shot, save made. Campbell one-hands it. Campbell out in front, and that pass will deflect. Yeah, you'll notice there's going to be some players slipping, falling, and tumbling. It's unfortunate, but you know that is the norm. We've seen that in the President's Cup in 2013, also 2019, also 2018 when I personally went to Nanaimo at Frank Crane Arena. They did everything they could, but unfortunately, it's hot. It's hot in arenas as the Tigers lose possession of the ball. Letterkenny picks it up, and they fight for possession, and the Shamrocks will come out with it. We've got a delayed call coming up to Toronto. I think there's going to be a hold. Sean Campbell moves in, and he shoots over the net. That's Jim Campbell, 11. And it is a penalty to the Tigers. So the Shamrocks with a golden opportunity to try and tie this one up and then some. So the Letterkenny Shamrocks trailing 2-1 to Toronto. We're under 6 to go. in this first half. Can the Shamrocks equalize is the question. Ball's on the left-hand side of the goal. Played up top for Campbell. He shoots, he scores! From about 35, just over the knee of the Toronto tender, and the Shamrocks have leveled the score 2-2. It's a power play goal, and a huge one here for Letterkenny as they level the scoring. It's 2-2, Letterkenny and Toronto. As we dig into the face-off dot, having a little bit of an issue over at the scorekeeper's box, but we're hoping that this issue gets resolved shortly. Not only was it the scorekeeper's box, but also behind the Toronto net, there was a hole in the back of the goal. So Campbell, congratulations, you just put one through the net, literally. 2-2 the score as we get back to work here in this first half. Second half is coming up as well after this. And if the games are tied, then they finish like that. And there's Bush laying the lumber on Hutchkins. Picked up by the Tigers in Toronto. Headman's at under 5 to go in this first half. 2-2 scoreline. Toronto in possession. The final game of day one here at the Chuck Baranowski Winter Classic. Here's an opportunity for the Tigers. Save! Wainwright's got the rebound. Wainwright trying to find the handle. Ball still loose around the house area, or where the house area would be, and it's played back out into Toronto's territory. Two Tigers are waiting for it. Ball scored free. Good work by the Shamrocks, and it's taken. But it's taken because of a push on the back, which will give the possession back to Toronto as we close in on the 4-minute mark here of this first half. Here's a lead pass on front, backhander, and that one hit the mask of O'Callaghan. And it'll be Letterkenny coming up with it. Shamrocks in possession behind their own goal, and they're looking to start up. And away comes Letterkenny. As the Shamrocks fly into Toronto territory. A shot! Underarm shot! Ricochets back out. And it'll be Toronto possession off the turnover. Good defensive help by Tuax number 50 in gray. As the Tigers bring it into Letterkenny territory. 2-2 score line. And a pass will hop on goal. Callahan catches it. And back come the Shamrocks. Making their way to center. Letterkenny 7-3 winners in game one against Glasgow. And the Shamrocks retrieve it. Ball's on the right-hand side of the Toronto goal. Out in front! Scores! The ball trickles in. And it's 3-2 Letterkenny with 2.5 to go in the first half. So the Tigers, after going up by a pair, have now given up back-to-back-to-back tallies as we're closing in on the 2-minute mark here in this first half. And the Shamrocks have the lead now, 3-2 against Toronto. Face-off violation on the Shamrocks as the centerman stepped in. Back comes Toronto. Hill brings it outside. Looking for help, and he sends one over to Gillespie, 36 in gray. Gillespie looks for Cruz. Good feed. Cruz comes in, he scores! Tucks it over the left glove of O'Callaghan, and this match is all level 3-3 as we close in on the last 90 seconds of the first half. I think Toronto's exactly where they want to be. I know they gave up 3 in a row, but if they can end this first half all level, it'll feel great for them. And that's exactly what happened in Game 1 for the Tigers as Toronto wins it. There's a push by Campbell. The only question I have is, was it during possession? I think it was. Toronto's got the man advantage. Played over to the right-hand side. Oh, sorry, it was just my bad. They put the penalty up on the board, but there are 5 men out. Turnover by the Tigers. It was just a possession call. Conley gets it up to mid-court. Roymans, as we get into the last 22 seconds of the first half. Letterkenny trying to end this half with a goal. Campbell has it played off his stick. Picked back up by Letterkenny. 5 seconds ago. Feet out in front. Comes back up to mid-court. Campbell, a backhander. Not on. Tigers possession, and that'll do it. First half over. What a first half it was. The Letterkenny Shamrocks and Toronto Tigers all level at 3 goals apiece. We'll be right back with the second half. Here we go. Second half of this matchup between the Toronto Tigers and Letterkenny Shamrocks. What a great first half it was. The Shamrocks and Tigers all square 3-3. If Letterkenny wins, oh, what a big hit. It looks like an illegal one, so Toronto ball. Cruz sends it out, and Toronto will reset. If Letterkenny wins this game as a submarine shot comes in, it won't hit the goal. Letterkenny wins, then Toronto is eliminated. 2-on-1 Shamrocks, a shot, pad save made. Campbell, a rebound! Can't tuck her home. He does. It trickles in. They score. Shamrocks take the lead, 4-3. Some fireworks just 30 seconds into this half. And again, as you heard off the top of the broadcast, if Letterkenny wins, Toronto is out in terms of making it to the semifinals. And Letterkenny would also eliminate Glasgow. Smith gets jolted along the boards. Tigers in possession of the, Shamrocks in possession of the ball. They score! 5-3! What a start to this second half for Letterkenny. Wow. What a massive start for Letterkenny. Shamrocks lead this one by a score of 5-3. Toronto changing goaltenders. Hill coming in now. Here we go. And we got a whistle, and it's a violation on Toronto. So the Shamrocks have possession of the ball. Tell you what, just a little over 2 minutes in, and the Shamrocks are laying down the law against the Tigers. Possession still controlled by the Shamrocks. Bush comes in and knocks it free. Picked back up by Letterkenny. Campbell slings it over. A shot patted away by Hill. A rebound goes to the corner. Bush tries to hack it up. Intercepted by Letterkenny. And Campbell settles the play down. Sends it over to the right-hand side. Campbell can't control the ball. Got the referee counting down a manual shot clock. Shamrocks got to get one off here. And they still can't. Here's a quick stick. Hill deflected it, and it comes back into the crease and never got out as Toronto comes back. And it's jolted away and stolen by the Shamrocks. Boy, they're just on everything to start the second half. And there's a knockdown. Tigers come back. It's a pushing and shoving. Push away from the ball. Things are getting a little heated here in the second half. About 16 and a half remaining here in this one. Letterkenny has opened up a 5-3 lead, and there are going to be penalties being put up on the board. So can the Shamrocks extend this lead? Looks like Toronto's going to get the only penalty, I believe. Power play opportunity, Shamrocks. Ball's on the right-hand side. Letterkenny leading by 2. Campbell walks in. He shoots. And that goes over the goal. Ball deflects up in the air. And it is, well, I thought it was, and now it's repossessed by the Shamrocks. The shot clock resets, and Letterkenny with a good opportunity to take some more time off that clock. Campbell fires. It comes back out. Letterkenny gets it again. Shot. Scores. That goes through the net. It's in. It's a goal. What a start for the Shamrocks here in the second half. And maybe if you're the Mohawks, you're giving a little bit of a cheer as well. Glasgow, you don't want this. Glasgow, you want to see the Tigers win. If Letterkenny hangs on here, and they lead now 6-3, they've gone on a 6-1 run since falling behind 0-2. Again, if the Shamrocks win, then Glasgow and the Tigers are both eliminated. Played over 5 minutes in this second half, and the Shamrocks are on it again. The ball has been all the way here into our left-hand side. It's been here to our left throughout. But here's Cruz picking up the scraps. He comes in. Cruz scores! Justin Cruz says, hang on just a second here. We're not finished. And Toronto now trails 6-4. I know that Letterkenny has dominated the second half, but Toronto making it closer once again, 6-4. And Cruz wins the faceoff. 6 minutes gone by in this second half. Cruz sends it over. The Tigers having all sorts of trouble picking it up. They will scoop it up here, but the ball's chopped free from the back, and we're going to have an interference called against Letterkenny, so Toronto will get a fresh 30 with possession inside the Shamrocks zone. Cruz trying to use the size advantage. Comes out, but he's on his wrong side. Played it out top. That was a shorthanded goal, by the way, for Toronto. Shot clock down to 17. From short range, it trickles just wide off the hop and then comes back and hits the outside of the post. And it's head-manned up. Approaching 13 minutes to go in the second half. Shamrock 6, Tigers 4. Pick and roll time, and that one is going to be deflected into the corner. Tigers trying to scoop it up. And Tuax comes in, and there's going to be an interference called against Toronto. So a fresh 30 for the Shamrocks. Letterkenny 6, Toronto 4. Back to full strength. Played up top to the left-hand side. Walking into the middle, Campbell works his way in. A backhander misses far side. Picked back up by Sean Campbell. He shoots! Scores! The 3-goal lead is re-earned by Letterkenny. And what a huge goal for the Shamrocks as we approach the 12.5-minute mark of this second half. If Toronto and Letterkenny tie, that will just eliminate Glasgow. And then the Tigers would have to beat the Clydesiders tomorrow and have the Shamrocks lose by X amount of goals. Tigers lost by 3. So the Tigers would have to win by a good amount if they can come back and tie this game, which might not seem likely. Here's a chance! Sent over the goal. It gets more unlikely as each second clicks off that clock. Letterkenny holding a 7-4 lead. Smith dumps it in. Here come the Shamrocks rolling and scoring! It's 8-4 Letterkenny. And they are doubling up the Tigers. And Toronto in a massive 4-goal hole now. The biggest lead of the game. And we're going to have a timeout taken by the Toronto Tigers. It's 8-4 Letterkenny leading the Tigers here in Game 8 of the Chuck Baranowski Winter Classic. Let's see if that timeout benefits the Tigers, trailing 8-4, 11 minutes left to go in what could be the final round-robin game in terms of them staying in the semifinal hunt. Here's a chance! Save by Hill. 2 big stops by the Tigers netminder, keeping this an 8-4 game. We're under 11 here in the second half. Tigers need to tie or win to stay alive. They had a good start. I mean, they were up 2-0, but an 8-2 run since by the Shamrocks has given them their biggest lead of this contest. And it's thrown away by the Tigers, picked up by the Shamrocks, accelerating into Toronto territory, and now they'll put on the brakes. Ball comes up top, backhanded over to the right side, and that'll be thrown away, intercepted by the Tigers netminder Hill, who leaves it for Gillespie. Gillespie makes a 90-foot pass, or that's more like a 60-foot pass. Played over to the left-hand side, and now coming in front are the Tigers. Penalty coming up against Letterkenny. Ball squirts free to the corner. Toronto still with it. Delayed call 5 seconds ago. Cruz is open. Cruz up top from 40. And that goes over the goal. And we have the penalty which has been called against the Letterkenny Shamrocks. 9:45 to go and counting left in this contest. The Shamrocks 8 and the Toronto Tigers 4. And if Letterkenny wins this game, them and Ganawagi will go toe-to-toe for first spot in the pool tomorrow. But the Tigers, they're going to fight with every last inch of breath. Ball's on the right-hand side of the goal. Back up top. Centered over to the left-hand side. It bounces to the corner. Tigers still have it. And here's a shot. And that one fought off a rebound. They score! Cruz on the other side. Tucks it in far short corner. And that makes it 8-5. So he puts one upstairs. And hey, we've got ourselves a ball game. Closing in on 8.5 remaining here. Shamrocks leading by 3. There is no overtime in the round robin. And the ball is controlled by Letterkenny. Over to the left-hand side it comes. Bush against Campbell. Campbell using his size to bulldoze his way to the goal, but his shot was handled. Picked back up by Letterkenny. Comes over to the left-hand side. Backhanded over, shot bounces up in the air. And here's a lead pass, breakaway, Toronto! Oh, big stop! O'Callaghan making the save. Here's a close chance, and that one fought off by the Toronto tender. Fresh 30 for the Shamrocks. Ball's on the left-hand side. Campbell gets a backhander off, and the ball bounces up into the corner. And it is going to be Toronto with possession. Closing it on 7 minutes. Breakaway Tigers! Save! Another chance. Save! And it bounces back out into Letterkenny territory. Shamrocks in possession. Save made by the stick of Hill. Tuax picks it up in his crease. Gave it away. They score!
Scores!
9-5! Oh my! Could that be the straw which breaks the camel's back? The Shamrocks up the lead to 9-5 here on the Toronto Tigers. And we're closing in on that 7-minute mark here. Time becoming increasingly precious. If you get one here, if you're the Tigers, you line up quickly. It's like if in field lacrosse when you have a face-off, or if you have a power play and it's a personal, you get one, you line up quickly. Of course, you got to get the ball and get one into the net. Can't do that if the Shamrocks control, which they have done throughout the second half. Played up top, and the ball knocked away and stolen by Toronto. Breakaway opportunity, save, a rebound, hops out. And the Tigers can't get a shot away. Picked back up by Toronto. They shoot, and that one's going to be stopped. Picked up from short range, blocked. And it caroms back towards center. And it is the Shamrocks in control. Back comes Letterkenny. As you've seen in the corner, 5:20 to go in this one. One would certainly put it away here. No goal. Crease violation. You have to figure if the Shamrocks got one there that this baby would be all done. 5 minutes ago. Cruz, captain of this team, sends it over to the right-hand side. Here's a 45-foot bomb. It trickles in. They score! Hit the post, caromed off the back of the netminder O'Callaghan and in. And it's 9-6. And if you're Toronto, line up here. There's a fighting chance. The shot was so hard that it hit the post and caromed back off O'Callaghan and in. Four and a half remaining. Closing in on that 4-minute mark. Shamrocks 9, Tigers 6, and their ball's knocked away and stolen by Toronto. They bring it back into Shamrocks territory. 4 minutes now remaining. Tigers down by 3, lead pass, and that's going to hop off the wall, carom back to the front of the goal, and the Shamrocks scoop it up. And back comes Letterkenny. 3-on-1 opportunity. Ball knocked away. Oh, if you're the Shamrocks, you really want to take some time here and melt that clock. You don't have to go in and get a shot or try to get a shot or even make a threat, early in the shot clock. There's 24 on it. Now Toronto. Gillespie catches it off the hop. Gillespie throws it out in front. The ball deflects into the opposite corner. Shot clock down to 6. We've got a whistle. And the Tigers will get a fresh 30 here. Getting down to the nitty-gritty. Back up top. Shot, Gillespie save. A rebound. 2 saves by O'Callaghan, and he's going to collapse on it. And he dumps it back behind the goal. Whitaker gave it up. There's a steal. Cruz coming in, scores! It's 9-7. And 2:45 to go. And now Toronto's got to be thinking, wow, we've got some life here. We definitely have some life. Oh, boy. We are in for a treat. 9-7. This is the closest any one of the first 8 games have been here on day one. Ball's on the left-hand side. Now, if you're the Tigers, you want to regain possession as soon as possible. Here come the Shamrocks. Breaking in. Shot. Patted aside. A rebound. Kicked out. And Letterkenny's got it. Big possession earned by the Shamrocks. Ball's on the right-hand side of the Tigers' goal. And the ball knocked away. Picked up by Toronto. 2-on-1 Tigers. Big shot, and that's not going to hit the net. It bounces wide. And we're closing in on 90 seconds left here in this second half. Back come the Shamrocks. They can just melt as much time as they would like here. Oh, and Toronto's got 6, I believe. Yep, they do have 6. Shamrocks can melt time. It's knocked out. And this baby will probably come to an end now as we get into the final minute. The Shamrocks on the power play and holding a 2-goal lead here against the Toronto Tigers. And if they win, they are going to the semifinals, and the Tigers will be eliminated. And they know that they don't need to get any sort of offensive flurry here. They just got to wind down that clock. Toronto shorthanded and in a tough spot, down by 2. They got the engine started here in the second half, but just a little bit too late. And the Shamrocks jumped on them. They were all over him to start the second half. Oh, and a nice save in tight. And it's scooped up by Letterkenny. And this baby is about to end. And the Shamrocks are going to the semifinals. And the Tigers will be headed into the consolation group. Still one more game for them tomorrow against Glasgow. Bounced out. Centered in front, and that one is going to be intercepted by the Tigers. 10 seconds remaining. Back comes Toronto. One last opportunity. Hit the post and then trickled behind the Shamrocks netminder. Big win for Letterkenny. This was a very spirited matchup. The Shamrocks are 2-0. And the Tigers fall to 0-2. That means Letterkenny and Kahnawake will play for first in the group tomorrow. The Tigers will play for third in the group. And that'll be tomorrow against Glasgow. Shamrocks are 2-0. The Tigers are 0-2. Your final score here, Letterkenny Shamrocks 9, Toronto Tigers 7. Thank you for joining us here on day 1 of the Chuck Baranowski Winter Classic. I'm Brian DeBordo for Baby Blue Memories. We are out of here. Ona Iwai.